Hello everyone, it's me and Aldous back with another video, and yeah, this review is long overdue, but honestly, besides I got busy with other things, I also really took my time thinking about this one because I kept going back and forth between whether I absolutely loved it or if I felt like it was a step down. Because there was a lot of good things that the show fixed in season 2, but a lot of other weird issues and problems that I don't know, I'm kind of mixed about. So let's get down into it. Obviously, season 2 of Sonic Prime came out about 2-3 weeks ago at the time I'm recording this, and it is continuing the journey of Sonic now working together with Shadow, trying to save Nine, who's been captured by the bad Eggmans, and trying to restore all the crystal shards, gathering them together and taking them back to one location where they can put them back together and restore everything. So, first thing, I'll start with the positive. One thing I do like is I love that they took their time with the pace scene. I really felt like everything was slowed down. There's still a lot of actions, a lot of fight scenes, but it wasn't going as fast. The flashbacks, going back to the flashbacks and then going back to the present was done much more, fewer in between. I felt like there was a lot more moments, a lot more breaks. So I really did enjoy the pace scene of season 2. It was much slower, but it still knew how to hook you in to keep continuing to see where the story was going. I also enjoyed the uses of a lot of the characters. I like what they did with Rusty Rose. Admittedly, she does have a bit of a step back compared to her involvement in season 1, but I did like what they did with her. I love that we got to spend more time with all of the other characters that wasn't the Rebels, which was a complaint I did have in my review of season 1, was that the Rebels had all the time to shine, but the others didn't, so they didn't seem as fleshed out, and they actually did flesh them out in this season, which was really nice. I really enjoyed that. We even get more time with the villains, which was really surprising for me, but it was really nice to see more of their interactions and not just have them there being the villains. Seem to give them more moments, more chance to flesh out their own characters, and the comedy I felt like was much more real. It didn't feel like season 1 where Sonic himself was trying to be funny for the sake of being funny, but just naturally more in his personality. And how can we forget the amazing forms and power-ups at the end of season 2? I'm not going to say too much on the story because I don't want to spoil it, but that was awesome. Like, the last episode was pretty awesome with how they did everything. Overall, on that front, they did fix a lot of those issues. However, some of the weird issues that they did that I wasn't even now still unsure is, first, let's get the main thing out of the way. Shadow. His personality is definitely much more serious, but without much of the edge. He's definitely much more of the edge lore, but he's very serious. But the problem is that he still, after season 1, episode 1, I thought he was going to play a much bigger role for the rest of the season, but he really doesn't. He's kind of just there because they unfortunately made it convenient where he can't be involved with the main problems, and got rid of his Chaos Emerald, which for some reason he still is not caring about, which seems quite essential for him, but he's not worrying about it, I guess. I don't know. And he's just kind of there until the last episode where he actually becomes useful or really gets to play a part. So my big question is, what is his kind of purpose in the show that isn't just there? Like, he knows a lot of things, but you don't entirely need him to do that. Like, there could have been other ways to do that without him having there, if he didn't have much more of a purpose for his character. And that's the thing, is that I'm not really sure what they want to do with Shadow. It felt like they were building up something to get him involved, but he still never got involved. Or, I don't know, like, I feel like there's so much more they can do with him, because they built on that, but they're still not doing it for some reason. I don't know, I'm hoping they're going to do more with him in season 3, but they really advertise that him and Sonic were going to be working together in season 2, and they really don't until the last episode of season 2, so I don't know, that was weird. And then we have a side plot. Once again, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but there's a weird side plot with Knuckle Dreads, Captain Dread, and Sonic that I absolutely was annoyed at, because there was absolutely no reason for it weird. Story-wise, it made no sense. Character-wise, it made no sense. I mean, they kind of hint his motives at the end of season 1, but for him to do what he ends up doing with Sonic does not make any sense whatsoever. I literally was looking at the screen and being like, why are you doing this? Like, there's no reason for it. But that's all I can say about it without spoiling it. But it's a stupid side plot. I'm sorry. There's no point for that plot to happen. But I am interested to see where his character's gonna end up, so I'll give it that. And then the Metal Sonic, or Chaos Sonic that it was called. Now this was something they actually hyped up in the trailer. That's how they end the trailer, and they make it look like that he's gonna be an essential role of the season. And while I do think how they snooped him in there was actually very clever, and I do think that there is potential for the character to be very useful, he's only in 1 episode of season 2. Which once again also shocked me, because once again they hyped up that he was going to be an essential part, but no. I mean, I'm not going to cut it too short. I do like how they treated the character. They didn't sell him short with what they wanted him to do, but I would have liked to see more of it, because it was kind of nice to see the struggle with this character. I guess you can say it's a different form of Metal Sonic, because it acts like nothing like Metal Sonic, thus the name Chaos Sonic. But I don't know, I enjoyed him on the screen, but I really wish that there was more use for him. I honestly would have loved to see him fight Rusty Rose. I'm still waiting for that. I think they might bring him back. I'm hoping they do, because there is something with him. And then 9, I like what they did with 9. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but there was a lot of people saying that there's some bold choices you can make with 9, and they definitely are making them. So I think 9 is definitely my favorite version of Tails, so once again, a plus with that. However, the build-up, it's really hard to discuss this without going into spoilers, but the best way to explain this is that by the end of season 1, they were building up to some big grand moment involving Shadow. And the way they end up, the cliffhanger was so impactful. I was just like, what the fuck? Why did you stop this? Give me season 2 now. I was so pumped up. So excited because the build-up was so good in season 1. Season 2, to be honest, they kind of make the big moment so obvious that I wasn't really shocked by it. The build-up wasn't as great because they made it so fucking obvious throughout the entire season what it was most likely going to be. So when it happened, it was like a bittersweet moment, but it wasn't like the anticipation. I didn't feel the I didn't feel the excitement of wanting season 3. And even now, I'm excited for season 3, but I'm not like dreading the wait as compared to what I was with season 1 to season 2, because they did it so well. And so that was definitely the biggest thing about season 2, is that excitement was just not there at the end. So that's the interesting thing about season 2, is that there is a lot of good things that they did, and a lot of I don't know, I can be nitpicky, but there are just a lot of big points in the story that I didn't agree with. The animation, of course, is always beautiful, but it's just like the story, I don't know, some of the characters' actions, some of the choices that they did with the story overall. It's like it has a lot of good ideas sprinkled into the season, but none of them ever feel like they are fleshed out or going to the full potential. Like there's no, I don't feel like a big commitment compared to season 1, or just in general, that I feel like could really push the show, and especially with Shadow's character, because I really do not know what they're going to do with him, if they even have a plan for him. So I guess I've been going back and forth of my thoughts on season 2 because of this, because it's just like, it's not terrible, but I didn't know if I thought of it as a step down in season 2, or if it's just like equal to season 2. Overall, I did enjoy it. I wasn't like completely upset or dreading it after I was done watching it. I binge watched the whole thing literally the day it came out. I enjoyed it overall. So I wouldn't say it's worse than season 2, but I don't know if I would say it's better. I think they're just equal to, I guess, quality, And I want to believe season 3 will be better, or they'll really step it up. But honestly, I think this is the show where they know what it is, they know what they want to be, they have a vision, and they're kind of sticking to it, so everything is kind of going to be the same, which I guess it's not always terrible. But admittedly, the show could really, like, they're just one step away of really pushing to what this show is fully capable of doing. I hope they do it, but we're gonna have to wait for season 3. Overall, I did like season 2, but I do feel like there was a lot more like issues in there that really stood out more compared to season 1. But there are a lot of changes that they did fix, that they did get better with, and overall I am still interested to see what season 3 will come in and what they plan on doing. So I guess my rating for Sonic Prime season 2, I'm going to give it the same rating that I gave season 1, which was a 7.5 out of 8. Once again, I don't think it's better than season 1, but I don't think it's worse. I think they're so close to making something truly remarkable, and hopefully that's just something that we're going to have to wait for season 3, because honestly, I have no idea where their story is even going to go with the way they ended the cliffhanger. So once again, we'll see. And with that being said, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. I post videos as often as I can. Did you watch season 2 already? Did you like it? Did you think it was better? Did you think it was worse? Or do you think the show is completely overrated and the whole show is bad? Let me know. And as always, till next time, bye-bye!